At 4 o'clock, drivers will have a slightly easier route over the Illinois River after 6 years and $167 million invested. The State Department of Transportation announced the eastbound McClugage Bridge connecting Peoria and East Peoria partially reopens tomorrow. That bridge will have 2 lanes open, with one from War Memorial Drive and another lane from Adams Street, while the multi-use lane remains closed. A spokesperson from IDOT says there is still work that needs to be done, like demolition of the old eastbound bridge and the one over Adams Street, and construction over remaining lanes of traffic by US 150 and those Adams Street lanes.
When the eastbound work is done, then the westbound McClugage will undergo a major rehabilitation, which will consist of repairs, painting, and a new deck. The new deck and steel repairs should add approximately 40 years to the life of the bridge.
IDOT wants drivers to know the bridge is still an active work zone, so make sure to pay attention to flaggers, signs, and speed limits. That spokesperson says they're shooting for overall construction to be finished by summer of 2027.